multiple large lakes were just entirely incinerated at a largely underlooked eruption which is still ongoing. What I'm referring to is Vanuatu's Ambae Volcano, which just produced one of its largest lava flows in nearly 100 years. Whereas Ambae's summit on April 5, 2026 looked like this, on May 5, 2026 it looked like this. Summit-confined lava flows had overflowed the tough cone rim in two segments, with the northern segment later colliding with the northern crater wall before flowing clockwise to the east and south. Meanwhile, the other lava flow moved directly to the southwest. Encountering two lakes, these lava flows subsequently created several explosive interactions as it began infilling it, evaporating tremendous amounts of water, some of which was fairly deep. During this process, up to 20,000-foot-high ash-containing eruption plumes were generated, and the number of thermal signatures detected from satellite broke all-time records for this specific volcano. A large volume of basaltic lava was erupting from its summit, which is hard to estimate, but I am guessing a sustained lava diffusion rate upwards of 20 cubic meters per second. This continued for multiple days until two of its four summit lakes had entirely boiled away. Some segments of the boiled away lake were a whopping 45 meters deep, meaning a similar thickness of lava has now infilled it. Now, with the eruption still ongoing, I question how stable the lava on the newly infilled lakes are. You see, lava flows tend to contract and settle as they cool, so if this occurs, there may be additional interactions with any adjacent groundwater present, generating the potential for violent summit explosions. This is why the area around the summit is still closed off as shown here. Thankfully, no one lives at Ambae's summit, so the ongoing eruption does not have the potential for lava flows to incinerate any structures. However, ashfall generated by parts of the still ongoing 2026 eruption have destroyed water supplies and crops through both acid rain and ashfall. What started as weaker eruptive activity multiple months ago eventually transitioned into the island's strongest eruption since 2017 to 2018. Thermal signatures suggested the presence of shallow magma 2 months ago. It just took until the last 2 weeks for larger volumes of this to erupt onto the surface. Ambae's current eruptive activity could be described as violent strombolian to phreatomagmatic. If lava flows continue, they will decrease the depth of the crater floor, and this could potentially even plug the erupting vent at some point. If that were to occur, and that is a big if, stronger explosions could be generated with even perhaps some localized pyroclastic flows in my opinion, but this is just speculation. Eruptive activity does not show any signs of migrating elsewhere on the island, but you must admit it takes a lot of power, heat, and energy to evaporate 18.6 million cubic meters of water, which is equivalent to the volume of 7,440 Olympic-sized swimming pools. Regardless, this latest eruption might signal a new and slightly less explosive phase of activity for subsequent eruptions as well in the long term. Why? If the two lakes have entirely disappeared, there will be no lake water present to feed the explosive interactions it previously had with rising magma. This could mean that eruptions that previously might have generated moderate to strong ash emissions could instead now generate strombolian activity in summit lava flows. What does occur will be interesting, as this is the first time since the summit crater lakes formed 400 years ago that multiple of them have been entirely infilled by an eruption. The shape of this volcano, like many around the world, are dynamic, often changing in appearance. I want to note that all of the background footage I am showing is from before 2026, since I do not have any footage of Ambae's eruptive activity from the last month. Stay tuned for more updates. As a final note, I would like to thank this channel's patrons on Patreon and channel members on YouTube for supporting my work.